Okay, so you know how sometimes you just need to ask for help,
Oh, yeah.
but especially at work, you know?
Especially at work.
It can be like this weird thing. You don't
Mhm.
want to like bother anybody.
Right. Right.
So today we're diving into that whole thing,
Love it.
asking for help at work.
Yeah.
We've got this really interesting English language learning dialogue,
Okay.
some vocabulary breakdowns, and a bunch of examples.
Awesome.
Our mission basically is to give you some better tools
Okay.
for navigating these situations, you know,
For sure.
to ask for a favor and not feel like you're being annoying.
Right.
And the heart of it all is this scenario with this person named Rachel who's new at her job,
Uh-huh.
and she's trying to find the bathroom,
Okay.
which you think would be easy, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But everyone is just so busy.
Oh, no.
They're all like, oh, I'm about to go into a meeting.
Oh, gosh.
Or like, my deadlines are crazy.
The classic.
It's kind of funny, actually.
It is kind of funny.
But also awkward for poor Rachel. So this gives us so much to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to look at words like on board,
On board, yeah.
about to, which we just mentioned,
Yeah.
instead, and interrupt.
Those are great.
All these words that come up when you're asking for help.
Super useful.
And we'll look at how to phrase those requests,
Okay.
how to interrupt politely when someone seems busy.
The art of the interruption.
Exactly. Then we'll see a better example of someone starting a new job.
Nice. A success story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, no matter where you are in your career,
Right.
whether you're new to a team,
Uh-huh.
working on tons of projects,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to find something useful here.
For sure. These are like essential communication skills.
Definitely. So the first phrase I wanted to unpack was on board.
Okay. On board.
In the good example, someone says, "Hi, Rachel, welcome on board."
Right.
I mean, we kind of know what it means,
Yeah.
but what's the deeper meaning, you know?
I think the imagery is so helpful here.
Okay.
Like, think about getting on a ship
Oh, yeah.
or a plane.
Okay, on board means you're part of the group now.
You're in.
Exactly, you're part of the team or the company.
So it's more than just hi.
Way more. It's
Yeah.
like, we're happy you're here.
Welcoming.
Yes, very welcoming.
The example they give is, welcome on board. We're thrilled to have you join us.
Perfect.
And Rachel even says, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be part of the team.
She's on board.
She's totally on board. Now, Rachel also hears about to a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd love to help you, but I'm about to meet an important client.
Right.
That sense of urgency.
It's like a time crunch.
Totally.
About to means it's happening super soon.
Like right now.
Basically, there's no time to do anything else.
Okay, so the examples they have are like, I'm about to go out for lunch.
Makes sense.
Or, hey, Marco, let's go record a show. I'm about to go into a meeting.
Right, like I'm walking out the door as we speak.
Exactly. So when they tell Rachel that, it's
Oh.
kind of like, I can't help you right now.
Yeah, it's a polite way of saying I'm busy.
Okay, makes sense. Now then there's the word instead.
Oh, instead.
One colleague says, do you want to ask Sean instead?
Yeah, like a backup option.
Right, so what's the deal with instead?
Instead means you're swapping one thing for another.
Okay, like a replacement.
Exactly. The examples they give are, if we're at dinner, I could say I'll have the chicken instead of the fish.
Okay.
Or, I wanted to buy a red sweater, but they didn't have one, so I bought a blue one instead.
Right, so they're giving Rachel another option.
Yeah, they're trying to be helpful in a way.
Not just saying no.
Right.
And then there's interrupt.
Oh, boy.
Rachel actually says, sorry to interrupt you, Sean.
Yeah.
What does that really mean when you interrupt someone?
It's like breaking into their world.
Oh, okay.
Whether they're talking,
Uh-huh.
working,
Hmm.
or just thinking, you're
Yeah.
pulling their attention away.
And that can feel rude.
It can be. So that's why she says sorry.
To soften it.
Exactly.
So with all that vocabulary in mind,
Right.
let's look at how Rachel tries to get help.
Okay.
She says things like, sorry to bother you. Okay. Can I ask you for a favor? Can I bother you for a second?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Right.
Could you do me a quick favor?
Wow, she's trying everything.
She is, and no one helps her.
Oh, that's rough.
It makes you wonder,
What's up with that?
yeah, is it really that everyone is that busy?
Right? Are they all about to go into meetings?
Or is it something else?
Like what?
Maybe it's the culture there. Like everyone's just super focused on their own work.
It's every person for themselves.
And a new person is just on their own.
That would be tough.
So then they show us other ways to ask for favors.
Okay, like what?
May I get you to do me a favor?
Uh-huh.
Can I ask you a favor,
Mm.
and will you do me a favor?
Okay.
And they give examples for each one.
Like what kind of examples?
Like for, may I get you to do me a favor, they say carrying a package.
Oh, okay.
For, can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
It's finishing a report.
That's relatable.
And for will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
It's passing a file. Okay, so little things and bigger things.
Yeah, and these phrases are a lot more direct than what Rachel was doing.
Right, she was like apologizing for even asking.
Exactly, but these are still polite.
Yeah, they get straight to the point.
And the examples help you see when you'd use each one.
Makes sense.
So, may I get you to do me a favor? Sounds a bit more formal.
Okay.
Like if you're talking to your boss or something.
Right, or if it's a really serious favor.
Yeah. Can I ask you a favor? Is good for almost anyone.
The classic.
Rachel did try that one, actually.
Yeah, she did.
And will you do me a favor? Sounds more casual.
Like for a friend?
Or a close colleague.
Okay.
So it's all about the tone.
And who you're talking to.
Right. Now, what about when someone's really busy?
Oh, yeah, like head down working.
And you have to interrupt them.
The worst.
The source gives us these phrases.
Hit me.
I hate to bother you, but...
Okay.
I'm sorry to bother you, but... And I don't mean to bother you, but... It's like you're acknowledging that you're being a bit annoying.
You're self-aware.
Exactly. And it can make them more open to listening.
I guess so.
Even if they're swamped.
Because you're not just barging in.
Right. You're showing respect.
Makes sense.
The example they give is knocking on your boss's door.
Okay.
And saying, I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if you have time for a meeting today.
So polite.
It's like you're easing your way in.
Not demanding anything.
And the source even suggests combining phrases.
Oh, like what?
Like saying, I hate to bother you, but can you do me a favor?
Oh, that's good.
It's like a double layer of politeness.
You're being extra careful.
Exactly. Okay, so thankfully, after all that awkwardness with Rachel...
Oh, yeah. What happened next?
We see a much better interaction.
Finally.
It starts with, hi, I just wanted to welcome you on board.
Much better.
Right away, it's different.
What's so different about it?
Well, they offer help immediately.
Oh, wow. Proactive.
Instead of waiting for the new person to ask.
Interesting.
They say, thank you. I was actually about to reach out to you about getting started.
Wow, they're on top of it.
And then I was just about to suggest we set up a time to go over the project.
That's so helpful.
Like they're invested in this person's success.
Not just leaving them to figure it out.
Exactly. And then they talk about scheduling.
Okay.
Like Thursday could work maybe around 10 a.m. And then would 11 a.m. work instead?
Nice. They're flexible.
Yeah, it's a back and forth.
Like a team.
And even when something comes up, it's handled smoothly.
Like what?
They say, sorry to interrupt, but I just realized I reserved the main conference room already, so we're all set.
Okay, no problem.
It's a quick interruption, and then they move on.
Efficient.
And the new person asks great questions, too.
Oh, like what?
Do I need to prepare anything specific?
Good question.
And later, if I could just interrupt for a second, should I review any files beforehand?
They're taking initiative.
And the answers are really clear, too.
Like what?
Just bring any questions you have,
Okay.
and no problem. Instead, just focus on familiarizing yourself with the general outline. So helpful.
It's a totally different vibe.
Night and day compared to the first one.
This shows how important communication is.
Definitely for a good start.
For onboarding and for the whole team.
Right.
So the source also does this audio review of the vocab.
Oh, that's cool.
They go through each word and give examples.
That's a little quiz.
Yeah, so they start with bother.
Okay.
And they define it as annoy or disturb someone.
Makes sense.
And the example is, sorry to bother you.
Classic.
Then they do, can I ask you a favor?
Okay.
Which means ask someone to do a kind and helpful thing.
Uh-huh.
And the example is, excuse me, can I ask you a favor? Could you bring this to HR for me?
Nice and specific.
Then on board.
Welcome on board.
They define it as to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And the example is, welcome on board, Sarah. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
So welcoming.
Very. Then can I bother you?
Ooh, that one's tricky.
They say it's a polite way of asking if you can interrupt someone.
I see.
And instead, which means in the place of.
Like, I can't help you right now. Why don't you ask Kathy instead?
Okay.
And sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
They define it as a phrase used to begin speaking to someone when they are busy.
Uh-huh.
And the example is, sorry to interrupt you, Jason, but someone wants to talk to you.
Right. You got to warn them.
And finally, do me a quick favor.
That's a good one.
It means do a small, helpful thing that won't take a long time.
Uh-huh.
Like, hey, could you do me a quick favor and close the door behind you?
Easy peasy.
So that review really ties it all together.
Yeah, it's a good recap.
So now you should have a better idea of how to ask for help.
Especially at work.
We saw what not to do with Rachel.
Poor Rachel.
And a much better example, too.
So we have options.
Exactly. But it makes you think you know.
About what?
How much does your relationship with someone matter?
Oh, yeah, like if you know them well,
Would it have been different for Rachel if she'd been there longer?
maybe people would have been more helpful.
And what about the favor itself? Is it a quick question or something that takes more time?
That definitely makes a difference.
And sometimes you can just tell, you know,
To what?
if someone's truly busy
Oh, yeah, by their body language.
or their tone of voice.
Like those little cues.
So that's something to pay attention to.
Definitely.
I guess we all just have to navigate these things.
It's part of working with people.
It is.
Thanks for diving into this with me.
Of course, this was really interesting.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Me too.
Until next time.
See ya.